In this video, I want to bring up a couple of points that were made by a couple of my, shall we say, brethren in pro-liberty, anti-lockdown sentiment of people that I occasionally hear on YouTube. And I want to consider what both of them have to say, because for both of these guys, the points that they make are, I find, compelling. One of them is a point that I had kind of thought of before. The other is something that hadn't occurred to me before. But I wanted to present both of these ideas and consider them. So the first is one that quantum of conscience, a point that he made in a video that I believe he posted yesterday. He was thinking long term about what are they trying to get out of this? What are they going for? I've said before that questions of the why, these are big questions, and I am not afraid to proclaim my, to a degree, ignorance about it. I don't claim to know totally what motivates these creatures to do the things that they're doing. I know that they're up to no good, and I can guess at why. And I have, spent some time scrutinizing their behavior. If you want to see the most recent example of that, see my Maria Farmer video that I posted recently, where I was scrutinizing what I called the reptilian mindset. All caveats about reptilian, the use of that term aside, which I won't repeat here, but so I don't know, I claim ignorance, or I don't speculate about big why type questions. But something that Quantum of Conscience pointed out, which I thought was a really good point, was something I had noticed, that he had noticed, and that when he pointed it out, I noticed it too, or it came to my attention, or it came to my mind, even though I hadn't put the pieces together like he had, was that for the last few weeks, you've heard a lot, and I've even, gotten some posts from people, who are supposedly dissident thinkers, not mainstream type people, but saying things like, nature is reverting back to, nature is no longer being abused. The natural world is returning to, because human beings are, retreating into their houses and not poisoning the earth. So now the skies are bluer, and the trees are greener, and blah blah blah, along those lines. The dolphins are returning. The canals in Venice are now actually clean. And I didn't think much of these posts, or the expressions of these kinds of ideas at the time, but it strikes me, like it struck Quantum of Conscience, Matt at Quantum of Conscience, that the promulgation of these notions might get to some kind of long-term idea, because we know the mindset. We know one thing we know about these people is that they hate people. They tend to think that the human race is a cancer on the earth that needs to be excised, or brought way, way, way down to size. The Georgia Guidestones, talking in the first commandment on the Georgia Guidestones, 500 million people. We should keep the Earth's population at or under 500 million. So clearly they see, and I mean, I've talked before about depopulation efforts undertaken by all the usual suspects, the Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Rockefellers, uh, and all of their minions and everyone affiliated with them. There is this constant uh, effort made to propagandize in favor of there being fewer people. And what they want, I think, is radically fewer people. Now, do they love nature? I don't believe that they love nature. I don't think that they love. I don't think these people love, in the agape sense of the word. I don't think that's a part of who they are. But they know how to manipulate, and they say things like, well, okay, this is, you may not like the fact that you've been kept on house arrest for 3 months and you can't, leave your front. You can only stare forlornly outside of the window of your living room at the world going by outside. And you may not like the fact that you've lost your job and it's not coming back and that the economy is fucked. But hey, the dolphins are returning to places they had never been to before for a long time, and the canals in Venice are clean, and the skies are blue, and so this gets the link is tied to what's it called, Agenda 21 type stuff, Agenda 2030, sustainable development. Every time you hear the word sustainable, you should vomit on whoever said it. If you can vomit on demand, you should do that. If they're saying it without irony, because this is another one of those horrible terms that's being marshaled to very, very nefarious ends. So that's something I believe that it's worth considering. That they're trying to say that the more that the less humans interact with the world, the better. Therefore, nature is wonderful, and nature, we've helped nature by doing this. So if you really love nature, you should want your own imprisonment, essentially. You should want your own death, and the death of everyone else around you. You useless, goyim who exist only as beasts of burden to be used and then flung away once your use is done. It's trying to breed that kind of mindset in you. Okay. I think that again, Matt from Quantum of Conscience has a really good point that he makes there. And I'll provide the link. The other thing that I wanted to consider is from Mark Devlin, and what he brings up, and I will post a link to. I think this is a part of a longer interview, but there's a part that's excerpted where he makes this point, more pointedly. And what he talks about is, and this is something that has intrigued me as well, this sudden turnaround whereby suddenly there were all of these corporate, massively funded corporate efforts, these commercials that are putting it all in our face and using terms like the new normal, and suddenly these things are built in everywhere, at the drugstore, at the gas station, or at the grocery store. These laminated signs are all over the floor saying please keep 6 feet apart and shop this way. As you saw in one of my prior videos, now they're trying to say you can't go down this aisle unless you're going this way down this aisle, and then you have to turn around and go the other way down the other aisle, and all this kind of stuff, how it was just eased into place very quickly. Suddenly these glass or plexiglass shields sprung up. You know, for this to happen on this, this kind of scale, where you suddenly have in all of these corporate centers, these outlets that aren't being closed down, right? Walmart, McDonald's, Target, Amazon, all these places that are powerful enough, and of course I think they're ultimately at the high level they are the same. They are, they're all incestuous. They're all part of the same group at the highest level. Suddenly, they had these incredibly slickly made commercials, these propaganda spots, which, again, I talked about one of those, the HBO, it's okay to not be okay thing. But you had all these other spots being made, which there's a montage of that I also referred to in that video, where they all follow the same guidelines, they all follow the same template, they're all manipulative in the same kind of way. They all are, pushing you to feel certain things, and to want to sacrifice for the so-called greater good, and and to say we're here for you, and we're all in this together, and all of this nonsense, all of this nauseating tripe, but they were all just pushed out, on a huge scale, like one after another. And Devlin asks, is it that likely that they all just, if this just was a big surprise to everybody, if it was suddenly sprung on these corporations that, oh my gosh, we've suddenly got to deal with this, with these lockdown orders and these social distancing orders, and we didn't expect this to happen, we didn't see this coming, then why were they so well prepared for it? If they were able to just get their shit together so quickly, and change their structures around and push out these commercials, which again, they're not high quality, but they're obviously well funded. They're not high quality as far as being interesting or profound or worthwhile, but they're high quality as far as obviously a lot of money was spent on them, and they are and they're sophisticated propaganda efforts, and they're all following the same exact propagandistic templates. How likely is it that they were just able to throw all these things together immediately within a couple of weeks, when suddenly we're being blasted with them? How much more likely is it that they knew in advance? These are good questions, or these are good points, and I just wanted to highlight them here, and I will link to both of these videos that I'm referring to. Even though they both have a lot more viewers than I do, still, if you watch my channel and you haven't seen either of these, it might be a worthwhile thing to consider. So just for your possible reflection. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Check out my work at altrightnovelist.com or lowstatusnovelist.blogspot.com. Check out my work, The Lockdown is a PSYOP, which is currently posted at affirmativeright.blogspot.com.